Hey guys, Artillery Boy here. Today we're going to be doing another video. Today we're going to be doing the Belgium BEM-4GP. Now, right before we get to the video, make sure you subscribe the button. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because we're going through there. Now, let's start off with the history of the mask. Now, during the 1990s, when NATO decided to get really more and more involved of making more modern masks, this one is no exception. They decided now the company Engicom, the company who were responsible for this mask, decided to work on this mask and decided to go for and brought us this. Now the actual name of it, the BEM-4GP, that has an entire acronym term, which is called, and I kid you not, Belgium Engicom Mask 4th Generation General Purpose. Yes, say that name 3 times out of your tongue. That is the most confusing name, but it's actually kind of an interesting thing about it. Now, these were handed to soldiers outside of Belgium, decided handing over the M51s with these guys. And of course, when they decided to try out the drinking straw, and we're going to get to that right into the video. Well, there was a lot of problems with it. The straw keeps breaking the mask. Now, there's a lot of other variants of it. There's ones with a more improved version, which those are very mysterious to look for it. There is ones that just have the entire thing just taken out. And of course, this one I have is the early version. Yeah, the later ones have this thing being removed. And unfortunately, since the company went out of bankrupt, they couldn't really fix the mask. So, in return of replacing a mask with another one, the Belgium BEM-4GP has been replaced by, you guessed it, the Avon FM12. Possibly the mask that is much better, and yes, it's a much better variant of the S10. So let's begin with the entire accessories and even the masks themselves. Now, the mask itself is this here. Now, I think the bag is actually not bad. Now, the camouflage, yes, this is a actual camouflage called the Jigsaw. It's an okay common pattern. It's an interesting pattern to look at it. Now, it has a zipper to very much open the mask. Very much these little holders, or these buttons to just take apart, and very much opening the lid. And at the back, oh yes, just like the French mask, does not have a shoulder strap, but instead having a belt loop to attach your belt, and this is meant to be your leg strap. Now, opening the bag itself, reveals the whole thing itself. Now, it has a name tag on the top. The entire, actually, plastic holder for the mask, and even the filter. Now, when I was at the surplus store in Texas, I found this filter and it turns out it was meant for this mask. And when I got the mask, it's actually the whole thing, and this one came with this filter. Now, that's actually quite okay. And of course, inside the bag, and yes, clearly inside of the bag, you see 2 giant pockets. Very much giant pockets, very much being rubberized. And this is meant for the drinking straw. Unfortunately, did not came with the drinking straw, or I found there was a pamphlet to it. Unfortunately, that's what I found out about it. Now, let's get to the mask itself. Ah, yes, the mask itself. Now, the mask itself is not bad, Now, this is actually one of the biggest pros, and I think it's a really good mask, but despite its flaws, and well, You got the voice diaphragm, the inhale exhale assembly. The thread is 40 millimeter NATO thread, and you see the stamps right. The stamps are the stamps are right on top of it. 98. Of course, there is the drinking straw or the drinking tube, and of course you have the filter can just tilt left and right, which that's quite a bit of a good deal about this. You know, by the mask, that is like not bad. Of course, you got a 6-point head harness. Of course, you got the stamp that is made in 86 for the head harness. Very much these little rubber holders for just adjusting the mask. Alongside with these two, all you need to do is very much flip them out and adjust them. Get that back in there. Now let's go see inside of the mask, which, oh yeah, this thing is meant for the handle, for you to very much don the mask easier. Now inside the mask, and you got this there, you have the diaphragm, and there's the drinking straw, or the drinking tube system, but unfortunately they took off the little bite piece to use that. Now for the exhale inhale assembly, it goes in here, very much goes right into the mask, to the oral nasal cup, and of course you got to the exhale valve, which is the basically in there on the entire exhale assembly, the voice diaphragm. Of course, inside the mask, you got stamps right in there, and of course, right there. This one's 98, and this one's 97, and this is meant for a small or a medium. Now, let's go try on the mask.
So this is what it sounds like with the BEM-4GP.
Now, the pros of the mask. Now, I think this is a really good mask, and the entire thing really is perfect. Of course, we got this really revolutionized of having to very much turning these around to right-handed to left-handed shooters, or in a machine gun post. And I think, yeah, the rubber may not be, it's well, pretty thin, but it is quite of a good mask. And we're gonna get to the cons themselves. Of course, the carrier is kind of a minor difficulty, but the carrier is quite good. I mean, it does fit well with the mask. Of course, the shoulder straps, that's a minor thing. But here is one of the biggest cons, and quite obviously killed the mask, and even costing the company pretty much wouldn't survive. And you all know about it. Yeah, you've seen the bump right on here. The drinking tube. Yes, when you even tried on the drinking tube, it's quite a bit the most very fragile piece inside of it. Even having a small bang in there, this thing will not work well. So, as I mentioned, there's multiple variants of this thing having to be removed, but this one I have is the one with the drinking tube, or, well, the drinking system in there, but again, it's, of course, it actually does not really would work well. So, you guessed it, the mask was pretty much replaced by the FM12. So, yes, it just kind of really makes no sense for a system like this could break off, or rather break the mask of all things, basically completely making it useless. So it's been used by police and now being just very common in surplus markets. So my thoughts, I think it's an okay mask. I think it would have been an amazing mask if this thing was very tougher and not very much more fragile. It's an unfortunate shame to it, but so my final verdict, I gotta say possibly an 8 out of 10. It's a great mask with a pretty major flaw. So tune in next time where we conclude, well, when we conclude our French gear and our French gas mask review and possibly a Serbian review. Oh yeah. Pretty much concluding the Polish MP5, the ANVP F1. So that wraps up the Belgian BEM-4GP. I'm Artillery Boy, and I'm signing out.